Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel. I am finally doing a video that I've been tagged in twice now and have said I was going to do 4 months, and this is going to be the Get to Know Your Witches tag. So I will have a link down to the original video that started the whole phenomenon as it went around YouTube, but I just thought it would be really fun to share with you some of my thoughts and where I stand and a little bit about me as a witch. So I'm gonna just dive right in. I have the list of questions in front of me. I have some water so I don't dry out. I'm gonna just dive right in. So I was tagged by Erica at Raw Spirit and also Elaine Eugenie. I'm always concerned I'm gonna say that wrong, so I probably just did. But they both tagged me in this list of questions about getting to know your witches. So let's start. Does your sun sign portray you correctly? If not, do your other planetary signs. I am a Cancer, and I am very true to my sun sign. I am all about being like safe, being in my shell, being cozy, being nurturing. I'm very in touch with my emotions. I wear my heart on my sleeve, but I'm also guarded in some ways. I'm very true to my sun sign. Whenever I read a horoscope or not a horoscope, but a write-up about my sun sign, I'm like, yeah, spot on. All of it's spot on. I'm sure there's some things that I've like rebelled against, but it's pretty classic me. What songs bring you the most magical vibes? I have a few favorites, and if I think of it, I will link the videos up in the cards for you. The first one is The Mummer's Dance by Lorena McKennitt. That was one of the first sort of witchy or pagan-y type music I ever listened to was Lorena McKennitt. I fell in love with her music. It's still my go-to if I want to play something in the background during a ritual or spell work. I will go right to Mummer's Dance. It feels like witchy home to me. There were so many times I went into shops and it was playing, and when I was first exploring witchcraft and paganism, it was like the 90s, and her music, that particular album, which I'm not sure if the album is called The Mummer's Dance, the song is called The Mummer's Dance though. The whole album is fantastic. All of her stuff is fantastic. And I hardcore fanned out on that music for a long time, and I still love it to this day. It's like comfort, witchy comfort. And in fact, the very first concert Peggy and I ever went to together was to see Lorena McKennitt live on Vancouver Island in Victoria, BC, and it was incredible. I've never seen musicians before completely lose themselves to the music the way that Lorena McKennitt and all of her musicians in her group, in her band, the way that they lost themselves. You could just see them just in trance almost as they were playing. Incredible. All of her albums are really good. I really like that one, and I really love Nights at the Alhambra or Alhambra. That was the album that they were debuting at the time I went to the concert, so it's fresh in my mind, but I don't think I've heard a song from her that I didn't like, so love it. The other song is the song Ancient Mother, as performed by Robert Gass, or the arrangement by Robert Gass and performed by a choir. I will link that version up in the cards. It's a long goddess chant and song, and it's absolutely beautiful. There's a repetitiveness to it that's really just wonderful for getting into that space. It also has really fond memories for me because when I was singing with a local choir, we had an opportunity to present music or suggest or request, I guess, that the choir perform music that was personal to us. And this felt like the entire theme of the concert that year, or that summer I think it was all about where we all come from. So there was songs about different cultures, and then I shared this song. I remember contacting Robert Gass to get the choral or to get the actual music, which we then made our own arrangement, or there was an arrangement, I can't remember exactly, but he was really sweet. He sent me the music, he gave us permission to use it, we all learned it, and it was just a really special moment where I got to share this aspect of me and my spirituality with my friends and perform it in a choir. It just was really special. I have fond memories from my early years as a little baby witch, singing in like a pagan little I don't want to say little, I want to say casual pagan singing groups, and singing is one of the quickest ways to get myself into a trance space, and it's just something that helps me connect with myself. So I love music, love it. So those two songs, definitely the ones. Which of your deities, guides, ancestors is the most sarcastic with you? And then if this doesn't apply to you, which of your tarot or oracle decks? I have a guide I work with. His name is Clyde, and he tells me like it is. And whenever I do astral travel work, journey work, or specifically any kind of deliberately connecting with spirit work, he's always my first stop. And we check in with each other, and I wouldn't call him sarcastic, but he's definitely snappy. He's snappy with his words in the sense that he's got a quick wit, I guess, and he doesn't hesitate. He's got a very bold voice, and I really love that about him. That was a biggest witchy mess up or misinterpretation. Honestly, I'd say that the biggest thing that I feel would be some kind of mess up or misinterpretation was feeling like I had to follow somebody else's rules. It took me a long time in my spiritual path to realize that I got to make up my own rules, that I got to decide what my ethical code was going to be, but also what my practice was going to look like, that I got to define it for myself. It was very hard for me to break free of the urge to slip into a dogmatic practice. And maybe because my roots were Christian, and I was used to having set boundaries, rules, following somebody else who had authority, I slipped into that really easily, and I found myself sometimes in unpleasant situations, and learning to be my own authority was one of the most empowering things I ever did on this path. So that is definitely, I think, the thing, is feeling like I had to follow other people's rules. Would you write a book about your craft or spirituality? Why? If you already have, what were your challenges in doing so? Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm not writing a book about my spirituality. I don't have any interest in doing that right now because it's so personal and special to me, but I am writing a book. It's a book about self-worth. It's about finding your way to yourself and developing and building a relationship with yourself. And that is my passion project. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and is a long time coming, and I'm in like the home stretch of my rough draft, and it feels really good, but I have to say it's extremely personal, and so it's a vulnerable process to put something I'm so passionate about onto a page and hope and pray that it comes across the way that I intend, and that it's in some way, some tiny little way, useful to just anybody. You know what I mean? It's a scary process, and I've had some struggles along the way, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. If someone wanted to summon you in their circle, what 5 items would they need? Well, I got this. They would need a unicorn statue or depiction. There would have to be some sort of unicorn representation. They would need Peggy or something of hers if she wasn't there for some reason, which, I mean, really, if you want me there, you probably need her there. That's just the way it's gonna be. I would need, or you would need, a Hello Kitty. I have some in my home here, so like if you were really hard up, we could hook you up. If I was gone somehow and you needed to summon me, how would that work? I mean, Hello Kitty's everywhere. You shouldn't have any trouble. And I think you would need a pair of really comfy jammies, preferably in my size, so that I can cuddle up, and the Mons Tarot. You would need my Mons Tarot. All of these things really capture my essence of who I am. They're all, yeah, no, that's it. That's all you need. That should about cover it. If you were a ghost, what place would you haunt? Wherever Peggy is. Duh. And if I couldn't haunt her, I'd probably just hang out in Disneyland's Haunted Mansion, because that'd be real fun. And also, those ghosts seemed like kind of chill and cool. So that's where I'd want to be. What is the funniest way someone has reacted to finding out you were a witch? I can't really think of any funny reactions or particularly strange reactions. I feel like I remember thinking when I came out as pagan, I feel like I remember thinking that it was easier to come out as gay than it was to come out as a witch. I think specifically where my mom was concerned, but I can't actually remember the conversation or remember if she actually said anything crazy. I just, in my head, I feel like it was easier to come out as gay than pagan. Do you have any superstitions? I think the only one I really adhere to is when I spill salt, I throw it over my left shoulder, which I think has something to do with like banishing the devil or something. I don't know where it came from, but it's just a habit. It's like, oh, I spilled salt, and I like grab it and toss it over my shoulder. So that's probably it. I can't think of anything else superstition wise. Nope, drawn a blank. What is something random on your altars? Oh, I grabbed them. And so I have these pressed, I don't know if they'll show up very well, but recently John, the eldest man-child, and his girlfriend went to California, and they went to Hollywood Studios, Universal Studios, anyways, and they had those penny press machines, and this penny press machine made Hello Kitty, I hope those show up, Hello Kitty pressed pennies. So one is Hello Kitty with the Hollywood, and one is just like a Hello Kitty in like a cute environment. It says Sanrio and it says Little Tokyo. And so these have been living on my prosperity altar to attract more money, but Hello Kitty style. So that's probably one of the things. If one of the YouTubers you watched was a genie and they could grant you 3 wishes, who would it be and what wishes? Okay, first of all, my genie would be Kellyanne Maddox, because I think she'd make an amazing genie. Like, it literally makes me happy just to think about it. I think she would be an amazing genie. And she wouldn't let you get away with no crap, like breaking the rules or loopholing your way out. She'd be like, no, these are your wishes, this is how it works. What would I wish for? I didn't write this down because I didn't stop and think about most of these. I'd probably wish for a long, comfortable, happy life for me and my loved ones. And if that counted as multiple wishes, that's cool. If I had more than that, I would also wish for a comfortable, secure financial and material abundance, just to make sure that there was no stress or worries about money. I don't care about how much of it is as long as it's like consistent and comfortable, like contributes to a comfortable lifestyle. It doesn't have to be a fancy lifestyle, just comfortable. That would be good. Anything else? Oh, I wrote a book deal. I would wish for a book deal. That's actually really funny. I don't know if that I really care that much, to be honest. Mostly because then I wouldn't have to format it and figure out how to self-publish. But that's just laziness. All right, what's next? Oh, is this the last question? No, there's 2 more. Okay, if you could instantly become an expert in one area of your craft, what would it be? Herbalism. Herbalism and herbal magic would be the instant expertise I would pick, because it's a lot to know about a lot of herbs. I rely on books, I rely on solid, trustworthy resources, and there's a few that I remember, like lavender. Lavender's easy, but there's a lot that I have to constantly refresh myself on. It's not an area of strength for me, but it's an area that I really enjoy working with. Like, I really enjoy working with herbs. I really enjoy bringing their energies into my practice. It's rare that I do a working without herbs. I just wish it was something I could pull out of my head and not have to like do all the research and look it up first. That'd be cool. And when you die, oh, there's 2 more questions. I lied. When you die, what do you think will happen to your soul? Okay. So I believe in a spirit that is multi-life. I believe in reincarnation. Why am I saying it weird? I believe in reincarnation, but I kind of believe that our spirits and our souls all come from the same source, and we all may even have relationships with one another in that source place. But I believe that every single life we live, we choose, or sometimes we don't, but we choose, how do I say this right? We're given lessons that we need to learn. We're given things that we need to accomplish in order to evolve. Kind of like school. You start out like at a grade, and then when you pass that grade, you get to go to the next grade, and you just keep going as you grow and you evolve and you become more and more spiritually wise. You integrate really difficult things and you learn from those difficult things. I do think you have some say-so in maybe how you learn those lessons, unless you just refuse to learn the lesson, and then I think a lot of those choices kind of get taken away, and you're like, okay, well then learn it this way, and then you're thrust into more and more difficult situations until you figure it out. It's kind of an interesting thing to think about, but it's a really strongly held personal belief that we are more than this body, and that this spirit has lived more than this life. And I've done and experienced too many things when it comes to past lives to not strongly believe in past lives. So that is a huge part of my personal theological beliefs. How else do I express that? I think that's probably the only way I can express that. But yeah, that's what I think happens. So I think you hang out in between for a bit, in between lives, but not long, and then you're sent on to your next lesson. And I don't know that you ever really fully graduate, if that makes any sense. I think it's just lesson after lesson after lesson in a continual evolution. 15, this is the last question. Where do you see yourself spiritually in the next 5 years? I see myself very in a similar place to where I am now. I feel like I've hit my stride with my path where it's personalized, I'm able to move with it and evolve with it. It doesn't feel like a static thing that is rote. It feels like something that constantly inspires me and that I am inspired to dive into other layers. I'm a lot less afraid of offending people with my practice in the sense that I know that it's mine and it's personal, and approaching different practices and different methods with respect and knowing where they come from is important. But I give myself freedom to explore what I feel called to explore and trust in spirit and in deity and in the universe to make sure that I don't overstep my bounds. But I feel like I'm good at listening, and when I'm working with deity or I'm working with guides, I feel like I'm good at just tuning in, and I don't feel like my practice is about forcing things to work. I think it's about connecting with energies, and I just feel really good about the way that I practice. And I think in 5 years I'll be still feeling really good, and I'll still feeling like it's very personal and right for me, because I'm just constantly customizing it for myself. So that is it. That is the hashtag Get to Know Your Witches. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you all again very, very soon. If you have not been tagged in this, I tag you officially. Consider yourself tagged. I would love to know if you've already done one of these videos or if you plan to do one. Keep me posted. Comment down below. If you have thoughts on anything I've shared, definitely share those thoughts as well, and we will continue the conversation, and I will see you all again soon.